Neutral opinion. Subscribe. When an actor has a booming career, it will be expected that such an actor will never go broke until they leave this world, leaving a lot of fortunes for their families which they would leave behind. This was not the case for some of our Nollywood actors who died almost as a poor person as a result of some unfortunate circumstances. I made a list of just 5 and why they died poor. Number 1. Ernest Asuzu. Ernest Asuzu, whose career was booming but nosedived at a point, was brought down by stroke in 2015 and he died in 2021 as a result of this health complication. Ernest Asuzu died when he was aged 37. Asuzu began his acting career in the 1990s and he rose to prominence after he starred in the 1997 Nollywood movie Rituals. As at the time he died, he was almost worth nothing. After he was brought down by stroke in 2015 and this affected his speech, he was bedridden for about 3 years. This ate deeply into his finance as he had to be in and out of the hospital at all times. He granted an interview to a newspaper in 2020 and there Asuzu stated that his problem was spiritual. He was also planning to return to Nollywood and his music after everything passed. Unfortunately, he couldn't. The second actor on the list is John Okafor, popularly known as Mr. Ibu. His case was indeed a pathetic one. Do you know that at a point in his life he was so poor that he considered suicide? He wanted to jump into a well and take his own life. But as fate would have it back then, he was saved by his friends out of poverty. He later became popular and started making a lot of money from Nollywood. His first wife and second wife divorced him and they reportedly took away some of his savings. At a point in his life, he became poor again. He had to abandon his wife and kids in his mansion and ran away to have peace of mind. But his adopted daughter, Jasmine, helped him out of that situation. Consequently, he suffered diabetes, had blood clotting, and dead blood vessels in his legs. Mr. Ibu had to cry out when his sickness began to take a better part of him. Due to the fact that he couldn't fund his medical bills anymore, he cried out for help and Nigerians came out to help him heavily. A lot of donations were made through his adopted daughter, Jasmine. Based on this massive response from his fans, Mr. Ibu went through about 7 successful surgeries, with one of his legs being amputated in a battle to save his life. These donations made by fans to save his life and also make him live a standard life at least, unfortunately was truncated by greed from within his family. His foster daughter allegedly squandered monies meant for his surgery and eloped with one of his sons. His wife asked him for iPhone 15 while he was on bed battling for his life. Mr. Ibu sold almost all his properties, lost his legs. He lost all his properties, wives, money. Despite all of this, sadly, he still died with almost nothing. The third actor on this list who died almost with nothing is Ameachi Muonagor, who died at the age of 61. He died after suffering kidney failure while he was on dialysis. Just few days before his death, Ameachi Muonagor pleaded for financial assistance in a video that was posted to social media in order to help him pay for a kidney transplant abroad. The news of his ill health was broken to the people in November 2023 by his cousin Tony Wanwick. The actor spent almost everything he had after he was brought down with kidney disease, diabetes, and stroke. He had been managing his diabetes over the years and living with his life. This ate so much into his finances. He had to ask for help because he was undergoing weekly dialysis and other treatments at the Nnamdi Azikiwe University Teaching Hospital at Nnewi, and this cost so much which he couldn't afford anymore. The fourth person on the list is Muna Obiekwe, born in 1979 and died on the 18th day of January 2015. He was a very talented and lovable actor. He also died as a result of complications from kidney disease. He was also the first cousin to a fellow Nigerian actor. Muna, being a very reserved person, did not want to make his health issues public, and he kept on spending hugely secretly in order to maintain his health. Unfortunately, it got to a point that almost all he had was expended in trying to keep him fit and alive, and they needed to cry out for help on his behalf. Unfortunately, at that point, things were a little bit too late and Muna Obiekwe died. Some people later came out that he was a heavy drinker and smoker. This could have affected his liver and kidney. Muna Obiekwe spent almost all he had on his kidney disease and eventually died. The fifth person on my list, and also the last but not the least, is the popular Yoruba actor Babatunde Omidina, popularly known as Baba Suwe, who died at age 67. He died on the 11th day of November 2021. At a point, he was arrested by the Nigerian drug law and was reportedly tortured, which led to his breakdown health-wise. He suffered poor health in 2018. As a result of this, the then Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, donated to fund his medical treatment abroad, and other well-meaning Nigerians and hundreds of thousands of his fans. Baba Suwe was apprehended on the 12th day of October 2011 and detained by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, that's the NDLEA, on suspicion of drug trafficking. After a body scanner at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, identified a substance that they thought to be drugs in his stomach. With the assistance of his lawyer, a human rights activist, Bamidele Aturu, the allegations were described as false and defamatory by the ruling of a court in Lagos. His fans and supporters cheered as he left the court building after this hearing, but this went a long way to affect his career and his finances, his health as well thereafter. Since that incident, Baba Suwe became inactive for years due to his failing health, which eventually took his life, and this also affected his source of income. People donated to save his life. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it.